Hello there, and welcome to my channel, Novice Modelling in the Midlife Crisis. My name is Andy, and today we're doing a quick what's in the box kit review on my RS Models 172 scale 92264 Morko Morane World War II Finnish fighter. What we're going to do is the normal sort of procedure. We're going to have a look at the blurb on the instruction sheet. We're going to quickly scoot through the instructions. We're going to have a look at the parts, the decals, and then we're just going to have a general sort of chit chat on what's going on with the channel, I suppose. Now, as you can see, we've got 7 kits in front of us, including this Hurricane Mark 1, and most of them are marked up with Finnish markings, apart from this one. These are all obviously aircraft that were used by the Finns, and they represent Dutch, American, Italian, German, French, British, and Russian manufacturers. So obviously there was a whole diverse range of aircraft going on with the Finnish Air Force during World War II. And this is all part of what I call my big plan, which is going to be to build a lot of small European air forces basically over the coming 8 years. Oh my god, what have I got myself into? So I'll tell you a little bit more about this later. Basically you're here to do what's in the box, so we'll just press on with that for now. So Morko Morane 172 scale. The Morane Saulnier Mörko was the designation given to the MS-406s and MS-410s in Finnish service after they had been given the Klimov M105P engine. A large number of Klimov M105P engines had fallen into their hands. That'd be a Russian engine, I'm guessing, and this engine was installed in an MS-406, matching it with the VISH-61P propeller. The M105P was a 1,100 horsepower development of the Hispano-Suiza 12Y engine used in the MS-406 and was thus the same size as the engine it was replacing, but the extra power significantly improved the performance of the MS-406. The first aircraft to be converted made its maiden flight on 4th February 1943. As well as the new engine, it had the oil cooler of the Bf-109G and a 20mm MG151 cannon in the engine. After successful trials, the Finns decided to bring all of their MS-406s and 410s up to the new standard, but only 2 more aircraft had been completed before the Finns agreed an armistice with the Soviets. The conversion program continued, and eventually 41 Morkos were produced. Some were armed with the 20mm MG151 cannon, and others with captured Soviet 12.7 machine guns. So on the instructions, we can see we get some basic sort of sprue diagrams, and this particular sprue here is for the Morko. The kit actually comes with the standard Morane Saulnier fuselage and accessories also, so you have to kind of be careful as to which bits you're attaching. So onto the instructions sheet, and as we can see here, we've got what appears to be a rather detailed sort of cockpit instrument panel with, I think that's going to be a gun sight, I imagine. We get some, looks like some framing to put on the inside of the cockpit. We've got a seat which appears to have seat belts on as well. There's our stick for manoeuvring. Section 4, we're going to put the tailplane and rudder sections together. And in section 5 here, we're going to be putting the fuselage, our instrument panel, our seat, our engine cowlings, and a few other parts all together, so we get a pre-built fuselage. Section 7, we're going to be mounting our fuselage onto our 2 sets of wings. Got a couple of small looking machine guns here, and we're going to put the spinner onto the propeller mounting onto the front. We have what appears to be some sort of air intake on the front here, which is going to go underneath like so, and here we are looking at our wheels and our undercarriage setup. So that's section 8, and when we get through to section 9, we're going to be putting a few more parts on the undercarriage. Kind of all looks rather complex to me. That's how it's supposed to be set up, so as you can see, they're kind of drooping inwards. No doubt that will annoy me, and I'll probably set mine up straight for some reason, because that seems to be the way that I go. In section 10, we're then going to put our glazing piece on and our aerial. So that all looks kind of straightforward, I suppose. hopefully it'll go together okay. So onto the parts. So this particular sprue here is the section which is for the Morko Morane, or Morane, or whatever it's called. Like I say, you do get another set of fuselages here, which is for the earlier Morane French aircraft as it was originally set up. So we'll just pretty much look at this one. So we've got the propeller, we've got this engine intakes, we've got our exhaust manifolds. They're going to be part of the intake system as well. And here we have the fuselage itself, which is obviously one of the more important parts of the aircraft. And we've got a whole set of panel lines. These are all recessed, as I suppose they should be. Got a couple of small access panels. It's got this ribbing on the rear of the fuselage. It's got a little bit more detail on it as well. So that's our first sprue out of the way. Like I said, we can forget these two bits. They're going to go in our spare box. We seem to be acquiring quite a lot of fuselages at the moment. Not quite sure what I'm going to do with them. This actually comes with two propellers. So I've got two spare propellers, just in case I need them for some reason. We've got two parts of the tailplane here. We've got some more engine manifolds, which are not going to be needed. That's going to be like the rear sort of bulkhead behind the seat, I imagine. Not too sure what that is. Could be part of the interior of the fuselage. Got some small parts here. I think these are off the undercarriage. A couple of nice wheels. Got the undercarriage covers. We've got a seat, and as we can see, there's buckles for a seatbelt already fitted. Nice bit of detail on the wheels, although seem to have a bit of an indentation on this particular one. Quite a bit of flashes evidence on some of the parts. Quite nicely detailed with the cockpit instruments. And then we've got some more sort of intakes and what have you, I think, here. Well, looks all right. We also get a resin piece with more wheels on it. Why? Don't know. Kind of look the same as the others, and to be quite honest with you, one set of wheels looks very much like another set of wheels to me, so don't know what we're going to do with them. Here we have our clear glaze parts. We have one cockpit canopy and two small pieces. Don't know what they're for. We have a set of sorry, the camera's just about to die on me. I'm just going to have to plug it in. Excuse me a second. There we go. We have one set of decals for the fins. So we've got during the war with the naughty crosses on, and we have post-war roundels, and we have three options: MS632, MS633, and MS631. And we have a set of ones to go on the back here. Kind of guessing first squadron or something like that. What we're kind of hoping to do, oh no, hang on a second, we've got the wings to do, yeah. Here we have the lower surface of the wings. Now these have got panel lines that are not recessed, but I'm kind of guessing that's obviously the way that's supposed to be. We've got the, actually two, confusing, we've got two sets of upper wing surfaces that look identical. Oh no, one's got this little bulge on here, so I'm not too sure what that is. So we get some spare wings as well. Great. Quite a bit of flash on some of these small parts, which is a little bit worrying. But hey, I'm sure we can kind of get that off. Yeah, all looks okay. So we're going to bring in eventually our little book that we've got, which is Finnish Aces of World War II. And we're going to try and find if we can trace in here one of these serial numbers to find out if this particular aircraft was flown by any notable ace of the Finnish Air Force in either the two sorts of wars that they had against the Soviets. The reason, like I may have said, I can't quite remember, why we have 7 kits in front of us here, all Finnish, is this is part of what I call my little big plan, where I've been obviously spending a fair ton of money, to those of you who have been watching my channel previously, on a variety of generally smaller sort of European era World War II Air Forces. And the general idea is we're going to be repeating this process roughly every 8 days, where I put normally it's going to be between 4 and 6 kits in front of you, depending on how big they are. And I'm going to open it up to yourselves and put you guys in the driving seat and say, hey, here's 6 kits. I'm going to watch what's in the box them. You get to have a look at what's actually in the box. And why don't you help me decide, or actually you're the ones that are going to be deciding which kit I actually build. And if you can then put a comment in the comments bar, either Fokker21, I-16 Type 18, Curtis Hawk, Morko Morane, BF109G, Fiat G50 or Hurricane Mark 1. I'm going to top that up after 4 or 5 days of these being on YouTube. And whichever one wins is the one that we're going to build. Sounds kind of interesting, doesn't it? Could be an interesting way of doing YouTube from now on. Kind of hope so, because that's the way I'm going. So we've got basically around about 300 172 aircraft in our collection. And I've got this sort of setup for pretty much every small European Air Force that was available in World War II. And obviously we've got the bigger ones as well, like the French and the Germans and the British and the Americans and the Russians. But to run off a few of the smaller ones, we've got the Bulgarians, we've got the Hungarians, we've got the Czechs and the Slovaks, we've got a couple of Greek, we've got the Finns, obviously, we've got some Danish, we've got some Belgian, we've got a few Norwegian, and we have a shed ton of Swedish. The Finnish part of my contingent is actually the largest Air Force that I have. I think actually it actually outnumbers the Americans and the Germans as well. I've got 34 aircraft that are actually either marked as Finnish or can be marked as Finnish with the correct applicable of some kind of spare decals. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing roughly one of these every 8 days. For the next 4 or so weeks, we're going to do this one the first week. Then we're going to go and do some Swedish aircraft. And then we're going to dip down onto the Danube and we're going to do some Romanians. And then we're going to do some German jet fighters, just to mix things up a bit. And like I say, I've got multiple options on these. The German jet fighters, I think I've got 15. The Swedes, I've got around about 10. And the Romanians, I think I've got 12 or 15. So we're going to cycle through these. And, eventually some of these are going to be repeated. But I think I have enough to go around for sort of like 4 or 6 months without actually having to repeat anything. So please do think carefully about which one you want, because these ones aren't going to appear again for a couple of months now. We'll just move on to some different Finnish aircraft like biplanes or bombers or something like that. To help me on my way, I'm going to be supping on some of this, which is Gustav Finnish Arctic Vodka. Couldn't find any Finnish lager, unfortunately. Would have preferred to, because it's cheaper, and obviously I'll probably be a little bit more accurate in my application of paint. So please do like and subscribe, and please do have a look at some of the other interesting videos that we have. Thanks for joining me, and as always, be seeing you.